Yay, cool. I'm going to see how this looks on for an upload. This is on the webcam on my Chromebook laptop, and currently it's raining. Didn't rain last night, as far as I know. Maybe just a little bit. I saw just a little bit of water on the tarp, but it didn't rain very much. Wind was an issue last night. It was significant. We'll say that. So anyway, yeah, it's Friday, October 4th, 2019. It's about 8:30 in the morning, and it's now raining. I wrote some notes I wouldn't forget. So I got a gym membership. So last night, got a nice, warm, safe shower. That was wonderful, really. You don't appreciate a shower until you don't have one for a while. So what I had been doing, I had that portable water sprayer set up, and while that did work, just the weird factor of finding a quiet street somewhere and spraying yourself off in the dark. Yeah. So I got the gym membership for $10 a month, so that's pretty hard to beat. I mean, really. It's getting to the point right now that life in the truck is better than life in the house. And I've had this nagging feeling for the last couple of weeks of, why did I spend all that time and money building the house? It's weird. Traditional life doesn't really fit my life very well. And I kind of felt like, well, I'm a grown up, I should build a house, you know. But looking back on it, as much as I like the house and the shop and that, having a place to put things, I could have bought like a van and done a camper rig in the van. And if I'm going to be in town 5 or 6 days a week, that might have been better. I don't know. So anyway, I can still go get a van or something later. It's just, thinking about it, that's kind of like, yeah, maybe that would have made more sense. I don't know. Anyway, Sam's Club paydays go through on Thursday, so that was yesterday. So I got my first paycheck. I have enough. I had enough. I already made the land payment for October, so that's done. So things are basically going well. By staying in town most of the time, I'm not spending about $30 to $33 a trip going home for gas. That's the issue, is driving home cost me between $30 and $35. All right. Now, the good thing is Sam's Club has very inexpensive gasoline. What did I spend yesterday? $2.35, $2.40, something like that. It's 30 cents a gallon cheaper than anything around, within a block, basically. So that does help. But when you think about it, it's like, well, on a 20-gallon tank, you're saving a few dollars. It's not, oh my God, people get all excited about, oh, I saved 4 cents a gallon, and you put in 10 gallons. Okay. You can't even buy a Coke for that, So anyway, but it helps. Everything a little bit helps. I was glad I woke up earlier. I've been up for a couple hours already. It hadn't rained last night, so about 6:30, I think, is when I got up. Broke down the tarp in the back and everything. Got made breakfast. Already ate that. Got some leftover coffee in the French press. That's kind of nice. That works really well for camping. You can't beat it. I mean, instead of having to generate enough power to run a coffee maker, just boil some water, because I'm making oatmeal anyway. So it works out pretty well. I started shooting a video on the phone, and then the phone was full, so I had to give up on that. But I can take the back apart less than 10 minutes this morning. It took about 15 minutes to put it together in the wind, but where it is right now, I'm usually not in a hurry in the morning or in the evening, so I can take a few minutes to do it. And compared to having the full camper shell in the back, visibility out the back is so nice. You know, I get a little bit more light coming in. If it's not going to rain, I can leave the top open. And that's what I did the first week, you know, and that's fine. I like, you know, being able to see out. You know, so that's part of why I didn't put the old camper shell back on the truck, is I didn't really like it, you know. So I got some ideas to make it somewhere slightly better than the tarp. I've had a few comments about canvas. I had thought about canvas. That's still a possibility. I mentioned the deuce and a half army truck, and I'm still looking at that. The problem is finding what I need is to be able to do some sewing. And if I go into a place that makes awnings, they're going to charge me whatever to do it. I used to have a sewing machine that I could sew canvas with. I've actually got another sewing machine now, but I don't think it's heavy enough to do this. I'm tempted to go buy another sewing machine just so I can do that kind of thing, because there are a bunch of little things. Most of you weren't subscribing when I did the Alaska trip. And a lot of what I did getting ready for the Alaska trip, I didn't do video. I did some photos and blogging, you know, typing old school stuff. But I had bought a old Singer sewing machine built in the 1920s. I wish I still had it, but that was up in Canada, and the cost of getting it down here would have been enormous. I think I spent $500 in postage mailing myself some packages after I moved. I went back and helped my mom with a yard sale when she was cleaning out some stuff, and I had left a bunch of stuff there. So there was a few things I mailed to myself, but most of the stuff was just, no, it's not worth it. But this sewing machine, it was built in the 1920s. It was, you know, super heavy, beautiful. It was like, you know, just shiniest black with gold inlay. You know, it was just awesome. And I used that for, I made the sleeping bag, which I'll be using pretty soon when it starts cooling off. I made a waterproof sleeping bag for the Alaska trip, which probably saved my life a few times. It was pretty awesome. I could ride the motorcycle through a rainstorm, crawl in bed wet. I woke up with frost all over me, and I was still warm. Yeah. So for those of you who are worried about me, you know, I might get wet or I might have a wind problem, you can worry about something else. I may not look like much, but I do have some pretty good stuff. And it honestly hasn't been cold enough yet for me to even dig out the good stuff yet. So, yeah, I'll be fine. Yeah, on the Alaska trip, there was a couple times where I woke up and things felt weird. And I kind of looked at myself on the mirror of the motorcycle, and I realized I had frost on my face and the bag was frozen stiff. I'm like, oh, okay, it is kind of cold. Yeah. Pretty durable and not too bright. That gets me through the day. Anyway, so what I was going to say is, yeah, I've got the first paycheck. I made the first land payment. Things are pretty much on the upswing now. So thanks to everybody who did help get me through the last, you know, rough month there. Things are probably going to be fine now. And then soon we'll hit that magic 1,000 subscribers, and, you know, we'll start getting some money. Based on views and subscribers and those metrics, it's very variable. You don't get, it's not like a magic number that if you get 10,000 views, you will get this many dollars. It's kind of floating, because the money doesn't come from Google or YouTube directly. The money comes through profit sharing for the advertising. So two things there. If you're watching a video and an ad pops up and you skip the ad, the person who created that video doesn't get credit for that. So just kind of think about that. It's not costing you anything but a few seconds to let the ad finish playing. So that doesn't cost you anything unless you're really that busy, and you probably shouldn't be on YouTube in the first place. Yeah. So anyway, based on what advertiser would want to advertise on my videos based on the demographics of who's watching. So I can look in Google Analytics and I can see that almost all of the viewers are males between 35 and 55 is the core group of people watching. So people who are advertising would look at that and think, okay, what do these people want to buy? Okay. So you might see camping equipment, you might see tools, you might see Home Depot. I don't even know who's advertising right now. But based on that, that's where I get the money when I hit 1,000 subscribers. So I may get $5 or $25, depending how competitive it is to get into seeing those people, kind of thing. So what's kind of interesting still, I'm not going to hit this too much anymore, but there is still about 90% of the people watching this video or these videos that are not subscribed, right? And I mentioned on one of the comments recently, I just uploaded a video where I did a review on a drill press from Harbor Freight. Okay. That was shot back in April. So I'm just starting to get into those. That was before the house got built. And anything that has Harbor Freight in the title tends to do really well. So if I look back, the 3 videos that got the most views since I started, are Harbor Freight, Harbor Freight, Harbor Freight. Yeah, go figure. So that's the people who are watching a lot of my videos. And it's funny because some of those are 2 or 3 years ago, right? They're still consistently, there's one breakout or something like that. It says, okay, here's the most videos watched in the last 28 days. And it'll be Harbor Freight, Harbor Freight, Harbor Freight. And those are from 2 or 3 years ago. I'm like, wow, So it's kind of like a long tail, what they call, in advertising, where the thing that you did several years ago could still be making money, right? This last month, I got $6 from Amazon for something that sold. Now, they don't give me a breakdown usually of exactly what sold, but the book, Desert Storm Diaries, was written 10 years ago, and that still gets sold every now and then. All right, so it's kind of fun. When you do something, this is why I'm putting my energy into this kind of a lifestyle, really, because if I miss a day at work, I don't get paid. If I miss 2 days at work, I probably don't have a job. But that book that I wrote 10 years ago, people will still buy it once in a while. So that seems like where I should put my time, right? Anyway, so it's a rainy day. I don't work today. I'm still in town. It's just, I'm not going to have 2 days off in a row anytime soon. All right. So I kind of look at that as like, well, it doesn't make sense to spend $30 to get home and then turn around and come back the next day unless I have something I need to do at home. So by waiting a couple days and then I'll go home, then at least I have enough dirty clothes to do laundry. I'll be watching the weather. If it's raining back, at home, it doesn't make sense to go home because I can't do anything outside anyway, and the road is probably washed out. So try to wait a few days after the last rain for the road to dry out, and maybe they'll fix it. So it doesn't make sense to drive all the way home, find out the road is washed out. I just spent $30 for nothing. So that's my world. So The library will be open in a couple hours, about an hour from now. So I'll probably take what I call the big laptop to the library, find a plug-in, keep it charged up, and get some work done. So that's kind of the plan. Or I'll use this laptop, the Chromebook, and I'll do some writing. So either way. I did test this, and I can do this. I've got it, wherever it is now. I've got an inverter in the truck now that I can run off of the truck battery. I don't want to run the battery dead, so I'll just have the truck idling if I need it. So I do have all the adapters so I can charge everything now. And going forward, I mentioned this before, probably next payday, I'll start buying the parts I need to put together a lithium battery pack. And with that, I'll be able to charge it from the truck and then shut the truck off and then run the inverter from that. And then I'll have power. And we'll go from there. So, yeah. I guess, that was kind of, I thought about this yesterday and I'm like, okay, so I've been working, I've got some money, I got the first land payment made. That's huge, right? That puts me almost at the point of being socially and financially responsible. Yay! Get all choked up there. Anyway, yeah, things are definitely going better. This is, I think I've mentioned this before, but I'm thinking when I look at the truck, the bedroom, I'll just call it that. I've got like 2 or 3 different ideas that are going in different directions. And I'm going into it really slowly right now because I don't want to spend a bunch of money on that because I'm not sure if I want to keep using it that way, right? I used to have an Astro van. Now, Astro vans are pretty old right now, because they haven't made them for 20 years or something like that. I did look at an Astro van about 1.5 years ago, and it was in pretty rough shape, but I could have got it for $800, right? But, I've mentioned the Astro van, Liberties, camper vans. Some of those are out there for between $500 and $1,500. So that would be a better starting point rather than finishing the truck. The other idea was there are some companies who make, what they're calling overlanders as a classification. So you take, basically they're making motorhomes on 4x4 truck chassis that you could take just cross country, go up to Alaska and cross a river, and set up camp wherever you wanted to. Now, I don't need that, but I do need something that can at least get down my road, right? So I'm not going to go all crazy on that, but that's something I'm looking at is, for instance, when I did the fuel pump, I had to take the bed of the truck off. So that gave me a chance to really look at things. And this was my plan when I made the last camper 2 years ago, something like that. Before that, I actually bought the MIG welder, the big generator, metal cutting chop saw, all the magnetic triangle clamps and everything like that. I was going to build a steel box for the back of the truck, take the bed off, build a cube back there, and then make a camper based on that. And some of that was because I used to work, 2 things, I guess. One, I've worked at an RV place before, a place that sold RVs. And I've seen what happens to those when they go down a bumpy road. We'd have them come in and they'd be all screwed up and all that little popsicle stick construction just breaks inside and the whole thing gets wonky. And then when I was in Canada, I worked for a place that built the service trucks that went to the oil fields, up to the tar sands in Canada. And so I saw how they were built. And I was like, man, this would be how I should do it. Take the bed off, build a box for the back of the truck and then, make it, lightweight steel, it wouldn't necessarily weigh that much. It would just be really strong. Okay. Now I don't have time to do a project like that now because I only get one day off, right? But in the back of my mind, I'm like, do I want to go down this road or do I want to find something better? I don't want to spend $1,500 on a truck, a fiberglass back. I don't think that's money well spent. And I got over 200,000 miles on the truck. So I'm just kind of playing the waiting game because it doesn't rain very often here. The wind is more of an issue. So I'm just thinking, more if I can give myself a little bit of protection, have a good sleeping bag, wear a toque, keep my head warm. For now, that's a better solution. All right. And like they say, this is not my first rodeo. So if I can survive camping in the snow on a motorcycle, this is Texas. It doesn't get that cold here. So, and that gives me time to figure it out. So anyway, as always, I do appreciate the comments and the questions and the likes and the shares. And I'm seeing a bunch of great ideas coming through, and keep them up. There's odds are I'm going to use something, but I got to make it work for what I'm doing. I'm going to hit that real quick. Whatever I build has to survive winds and driving 100 miles at freeway speeds. That's the problem, right? And I don't want to build a big box in the back that I can't fold down. That's really the issue. I want, when I'm going down the road, I can fold it down. This is working really well. With the sides folded down, it barely whistles. You drive down the road, you don't really hear it. The one that I built before, I think I lost 3 miles per gallon because it was catching so much wind. It gave me more room, but so I'm trying to get somewhere kind of, in between. So, but the good news is I'm not in a hurry. I can take my time and try to get one thing that works well. So anyway, almost looks like the rain is stopping again. It's funny, the forecast had, flood warnings and thunderstorms, and I'm like, I got a sprinkle. Whatever. All right, stay tuned for the next one.